Bring your cup and take a seat. Fill it up, coffee, wine, or tea. Come find what you're looking for. A good pour.
Welcome back to A Good Pour. I'm Kathryn Good, your host. Today we have Elizabeth McGlathery with us, who I have asked several times to be on the podcast, but as a mom of three who homeschools, and I just can't wait for you to hear her journey. And she's finally on. So yay!
So
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So did we meet through the collab originally?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And have worked together a little bit through your business. You have had, kind of on and off based on the stage of your children.
Yes.
Right?
Seasons of life.
Seasons of life.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we helped out a little bit when you were.
Yes. When I was on maternity leave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, gosh, that was like a year and a half ago, wasn't it?
Okay. Yeah. Good memory. Yeah.
But you came into my house and took photos that I still just love.
Yes.
So you're just a woman of many talents. But today we want to talk specifically about adoption.
Yes.
So talk to me about that journey. Have you always known?
Yes. Yes. So the journey started, honestly, when I was a little girl. There was something on TV about orphans and adoption. And I just simply, I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I was like, what is that? And my mom explained to me what it was. And essentially, it's children that need a mom or a dad or both. And so that day, I was like, well, I want to do that when I grow up. I want to be a mommy to a child that needs a mom. And I truly believe that the Lord planted those seeds in my heart as a little girl because it stuck. And even when I got older and my now husband and I first started talking, the talking stage before you actually start dating. And I just shared with him my heart. And I was like, I know I'm called to do this. And so I just want to be transparent with you. And he was on board. The Lord had just moved in his heart on a mission trip where he served with vulnerable children. And so it became our plan A. It's always been our plan A for our life. And so here I am 3 kids later.
That.
Yeah.
How long did y'all wait before you started the process?
We waited about 4 years. We were married about 4 years because we knew the process would take a while and we wanted to have that season of just us for a bit and to prepare and plan as much as you can. We started the journey in 2017, our first journey.
All international?
All international, all from South Korea.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so just kind of explain, because I haven't done this or researched it at all. Did it take a lot of research to know, where your future child, like where God was bringing it, or how did you know?
Yeah, honestly, it was all a God story. Everything, like the Lord just kept affirming things. And so originally we had thought that we were going to adopt from China, but we were 26 at the time. And we found out you had to be 30 to even start the process. Wow. So every country has different rules, regulations, all the things. Every country program is different. So anyways, through a series of God stories, we ended up going with Korea because at 26 years old, you could start the process. And it was just really sweet how the Lord kept affirming that because you have the whole world you're looking at, and it's like you have domestic, you have international. It's like, Lord, where are you leading us? And so it's just so kind that the Lord continued to affirm that for us, that any doubt or fear that we had, like God was like, I have you. And it was just very sweet. Yeah.
So how old were when you brought them home? Were they
all 3 of the boys were 2 years old when they came home. Okay. So 2 of our first 2 boys were right at 2, like had just turned 2, and then our third son was 2.5.
Okay.
There is a big difference between 2 and 2.5, by the way. But yeah, they were all 2.
In the gaining comfortability with you, or just the age?
It's like toddler development. I feel like is because they gain more awareness the older they get, even those few months. And so our third son was more aware of what was going on than our first 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the transition like when you come home?
The transition. There is so much brokenness and grief, and there's also beauty at the same time, because you think, so with South Korea, the children are in foster homes before they come home. They're not in an orphanage. So there's just, again, different country programs have different ways that they do things. And so they were essentially with this foster home for 2 years, the first 2 years of their life. That was their mom and dad. That's what they knew as family. And so they leave them.
Are there multiple children in the foster?
Most of the time it's just one.
Okay.
It's just one. And so they left. They had to leave their family, their language, their home, their culture, their food. Just everything that was comfortable is being taken away from them in an instant. At two. And they don't understand, and even if they did, it's still, there's a grieving process. So there is grief and it's heavy, but there's also redemption and restoration. And that's what adoption is. Adoption doesn't exist without first there being something broken. God's perfect design is for children to be with their biological parents, and to grow healthy, good lives. But because of brokenness, God has created adoption for the remedy of that brokenness. So,
wow.
Yeah.
What is it like day to day now?
Day to day now? Oh my goodness. I always say my house is a party. I mean, it is. I have 3 boys.
So with their ages now?
9, 5, and 3.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a party. I mean, they are boys. They are wild. They have fun. They fight. They're brothers, they fight. And, it's funny whenever you become a sibling, usually, through a biological journey, you get to see your sibling as a little baby. And they're just,
and they're your baby. And
they're right there.
Mm-hmm.
But when a 2-year-old toddler comes busting in your house, tearing down your Legos or your city you just built, it's like, it's different. And so I'm so proud of my boys and how they stepped into brotherhood. Of course, there were challenges, but it's just so beautiful, their brotherhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Have you had the support network that you have needed? Or what have you learned about being an adoptive parent and in ministry with other adoptive parents? Or how has that kind of played in?
Oh my goodness. That has been such a journey. The support and just our network of friends or whoever it is, church community, they're learning along with us what is needed. You know what I mean? And so our first adoption, there were needs that weren't provided in ways that they were in our second and third adoption.
Because you didn't know the first one.
Because you don't really know. And like your community, if they haven't stepped into it, they don't really know. But our like deep support, like spiritual support and all the things were honestly through social media, through the other adoptive families that we had met. And then also in country, when we were in Korea adopting, you're with other families. And our first adoption, we actually flew back on the airplane with 2 other families. And so, I mean, we would talk like every day and just share with one another the challenges and pray with one another. And so through different pockets of people, the Lord has provided that support system for us.
Yeah. Tell me about homeschooling.
Homeschooling. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Did you always know that you wanted to do that too?
Absolutely not. Oh my gosh. No, I thought that I was going to be Miss Corporate Girl, like moving up the ladder, like maybe a CEO
I can see that
one day,
too,
but when we brought our first son home, like I was on maternity leave, I was supposed to return back to work. And I was like, no way. Like, I can't. Like, I advocated for this child for, almost the last 2 years, and he's finally home. And like, I'm just gonna, I had no peace. I had no peace about doing that. And so the Lord sent me on a new journey of letting go of what I thought my future was going to look like. So I never saw myself as a stay-at-home mom, work-from-home mom, homeschool mom. Absolutely not. I was a public school kid, and I enjoyed it. And I thought that's just what, we were going to do. But homeschool has been so beautiful. Like I said, it's been heavy as well, but just you get that time with your child. You essentially, if you put in the work, you become an expert of your child. You learn how they learn, and you pivot as they as you see fit for them in their learning styles. All three of my boys are so different. And they learn so different. Just putting in that time and effort, it's an honor, honestly, to do that. It's heavy, but it's an honor.
I haven't thought of that, of the opportunity to truly get to know your child, because my children spend a lot of time at school.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time at work.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to work from home, but I still didn't. I mean, I feel like I know my kids pretty well, but I'm definitely not an expert, especially in the way they learn or the way that, if I really want them to know something other than that they're loved and, that sort of thing.
Right.
What is the best? Yes. Yeah. How would I best teach algebra? I have no idea.
Right.
I wouldn't even know how to teach algebra to myself.
Yeah.
To be honest, these days. I haven't used it in a very long time. So one of the things I love about you, Elizabeth, is when you are very aware of always of the season you're in. And I'm curious, is that self-reflection? How do you know? And do you know kind of going into it? And I know this because you're so vulnerable on social media. And you're able to say, I'm not available to do any more website.
No.
I am in this season. But even if it's not about work, I feel like I just saw one yesterday that this is hard and here's what I do. But I'm curious, as vocal as you are about the season you're in, what is the spiritual journey as you prepare for that season? And how are you that brave to be this vulnerable?
Oh, thank you. That's so kind. It was a journey because I wasn't always like this. And I learned from other heavy seasons or seasons when I definitely overloaded my plate and it just depleted me. And the anxiety, the heaviness, it was just so crushing. And so a lot of it is just like listening to my body and then also knowing from past patterns and past seasons, knowing my limits. I have to, I have so much on my plate, along with homeschool, we also have special needs in our family as well. So there's medical needs there's just a lot. There's a lot of layers and I have to be available. And that's what's most important. So I have to have those boundaries. But it was a journey. I wasn't always like this. So yeah, it was a journey of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone that follows you receives the gift of a lesson when you share this season. What do you wish other people knew about adoption?
Oh my goodness. I think just the beauty that's in it. Yes, it is hard. I know I've talked with other people, being scared or nervous to step into that space, which I was. That was a whole journey for me, especially our first adoption. But just the honor that it holds. I've said, what greater honor is there to care for another human that needs that love and care? And it is the most sanctifying journey that I have ever been on. It rips you away of things that you thought, your perception of the world, of life, and even God's heart for the vulnerable and God's heart for you as you care for the vulnerable and how he cares just as much about you as he does your children. And so it's worth it. At all of us, the end of your life will come. Who knows when that is? And while you're here on earth, spending that on something that is worthy, that matters, there's nothing better, in my opinion. There's nothing better. You can't compare. So...
But we're not all called to do it. You were called very, very early in life. So if someone is not called to adoption, how do we, in your mind, support, especially as a church, but just as humankinds and doing good by others? How do we support a vulnerable population if we're not truly called to one thing or another?
Yeah, not everyone should adopt. Absolutely. There are so many different ways that you can support. One of them is coming alongside other adoption families. There is that new season where people are bringing, meal trains and all of that, but it is a journey. It's a lifelong journey. And I think
same way biological children are, right?
It's a lifelong journey. And I think just being there and checking in and support and learning yourself by listening to podcasts or reading books about adoption has been super helpful for us and our community. also just adoptees themselves, and just like being there and being understanding of them and the journey that they are on, and that everyone feels differently about their adoption story. So yeah, there's that. And then also I know friends that they're teachers at schools, and they have vulnerable children in their classrooms, and they love them in that way. In the church, who knows the kids that are coming into your class, those sorts of things. So there's so many ways that you can support.
I love that. The idea that it's a lifelong journey, and you're learning something new in every season.
Absolutely.
We talk about that a lot as a church, that it's easy to, I don't know, not save the day. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is when this season starts, right? Or when the transition is happening, the meal trains and but then it's how do we support each other and remember each other in our prayers and all of those things throughout the journey. I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you would like people to know about you or your story or adoption?
Oh my goodness. I think that this is something that I love to touch on because, like I said, adoption was plan A for us. And a lot of people...
Explain plan A, because I've heard you talk about it before, and I love it.
Okay, so a lot of people step into adoption because of infertility journeys, which is not a part of our story, but it is for a lot of our even fellow, adoption family friends. It's a part of their story. And so I always encourage families that reach out to me. I have families reach out that are struggling with infertility. And I always encourage them to grieve that infertility journey. Grieve it appropriately with a counselor if you need to. Grieve what you need to, because that is a loss. That is grieving a child, not only a child, but the future with that child, what you thought your family would look like. But to grieve that appropriately. And then kind of like, it never closes, but I hope you can understand the visual. Close that chapter and then step into adoption if you feel called for that child, to be a family for that child rather than for that child to fill a need for you.
Beautiful.
Because at the end of the day, that's too much pressure on a child and it can just get messy. And so I just always encourage families to grieve that appropriately and step into adoption it has to be a mindset shift. When you go there,
your expectation, there has been a death in your expectation almost, right?
Absolutely.
I love that, to grieve that. But then you fully get to experience a new life and resurrection that comes with restoration.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate, like I said, your vulnerability, your awareness of your seasons. I look forward to the season when I get to see you more in business and community again. But I love what you're doing at home. And really the person you get to be for the adoption community. So if anyone out there needs a friend or support system, I just highly recommend you.
Oh,
and
you.
Not that I can speak to this because this hasn't been a part of my story, but I feel like every time I'm with you, I'm close to holy ground. So there's
so kind. That's a compliment.
It is the best compliment. So, just lean out to you if they're leaning into adoption.
Well, I appreciate you. And, my background is marketing, and I just always see you killing it. And I'm like, if someone's out there killing it is Kathryn. Like, she's just killing it in the community. And I love seeing all the things you do. I'm like, you're doing it right. And
well,
I really admire it.
It's a different form of obedience. I have no idea the why or what the end goal will be, but it's a different form of obedience. And
well, you are a light in this community.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
I see it.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing everything these three boys accomplish.
Yes. Thank you so much.